Yeah, let's do it.
Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I always ask that of all my prey.
I'd buy that for $1. You really are a funny guy!
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Well, I'm gonna go then! And I don't need any of this! I don't need this stuff! And I don't need you! I don't need anything! Except this.
All I need is a bag of popcorn, soda, and a nice reclining seat at the movie theater and watching just anything. I'll go to the movies and watch just about anything. But the biggest trend of the last, 25 years or so has been the sequel. And tomorrow, or technically starting tonight, there's going to be an installment in a franchise that should have been dead years ago, and that is Halloween. Halloween Ends comes out tonight, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, the original Halloween from 1978, an absolute masterpiece. So here's my issue with Halloween, then we'll get into sequels. So Halloween comes out in 1978, and I think I'm going to need like a graph to write this down. So you have because the Halloween timeline is just out of whack. So you have the original Halloween from 1978, right? I'm writing this down. Then you have Halloween 2, which comes out a few years later. Direct sequel takes place the same night, right after the events of the original Halloween. Halloween 2 takes place. Then you have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which has nothing to do with Michael Myers. He's not in it. He dies in Halloween 2. Mm-hmm. They kill off Michael Myers. Donald Pleasant's character dies. Michael Myers dies. Then Halloween 3 comes out. It's not a financial success. They bring back Michael Myers. So then they make a bunch of other sequels involving cults and all this weird nonsense. Then the series is done. They made one with Buster Rhymes in it where he says, "Trick or treat, mother effer," and then he does a spin kick and knocks Michael Myers out. So at that point, they're like, all right, we need to end this franchise. What are we doing right now? So then Rob Zombie, who's a musician, he's directed movies. He makes Halloween movies. He makes 2 Halloween movies in the mid-2000s. They're just called Halloween, and I believe just Halloween 2. So as of now, there are 2 movies with the title Halloween. Then, 4 years ago, they decide they're going to not take into account anything that took place after the original Halloween, and they're going to make a direct sequel to the original Halloween. Mm-hmm. So Halloween 2 doesn't exist. And that's the one where you find out Laurie and Michael Myers are brother and sister. That's not canon anymore, meaning in this timeline that we're currently in, that is not a part of it. They're not brother and sister. There's nothing to do with the franchise anymore. So Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 don't exist in this timeline. So they make another movie in 2018, as we mentioned, and it's just called Halloween. So now there are 3 movies all about the character Michael Myers, all named Halloween. Now, I can understand why this middle one is called Halloween, because it is a reboot. It has nothing to do with it. It's, a different interpretation of the story. Mm-hmm. But this one that came out in 2018 is a sequel to Halloween. It's a direct sequel. Why would the direct sequel to Halloween be called Halloween? It makes no effing sense.
That's why I can't watch them anymore, because it's so confusing. I don't know which one I'm watching.
Why do I have to have a whole chart to figure out what the hell I'm watching?
Yeah, why do you have to write so much down on an index card to explain it?
It's ridiculous.
And it's 44 years from 1978, you said?
Yeah, 1978 is when the original one came out. And here's the other thing. So the first Halloween, I love it. I really think it's a masterpiece. And the reason I really like that movie, and by the way, the new one's coming out, which is why we're talking about it, in case our station manager is like, why are you talking about movies from 1978? Because it's relevant. There's the new one coming out today. So that movie, I felt, was so good because it felt like it could happen. It's there's not really anything supernatural about it. Now, Michael Myers does get shot 6 times, but I don't know, maybe he's wearing a bulletproof vest. Then it's become so much. If anybody has watched the most recent one that just came out, Michael Myers at this point is in his 70s because he was, a 13-year-old boy when he did the murders in the 60s when he murdered his sister. So, he's pushing 75 at this point.
And he's still moving.
And not only is he moving, he's like a ninja. He's like John Wick. He beat up like 13 firemen, all carrying like equipment. And he's just like knocking them all down. I'm like, how is it? My mom's 66 years old. She could barely like walk up a flight of stairs. How is this 75-year-old man doing jujitsu? Like, where did this come from? That's why the original Halloween, it's felt like, okay, this could happen. He's picking off people one by one. Yeah. He's not doing anything supernatural. He's a stronger guy, but he's not like a monster. And now they've made him like Jason, which I'm not a fan of.
He reminds me of the guy from Don't Breathe.
I like that movie.
Yes,
they made a sequel.
I've not seen that.
They made a sequel to that. And speaking of sequels, I want to find out from you guys, and I do also have a list of the best sequels. What are some of the best and worst sequels? That sequel might be one of the worst. Because from what I remember from Don't Breathe 2, you find out that he raped like a little girl. I don't know. It got really dark, even though the first one's dark. But then you're supposed to root for this guy. He becomes the hero. Yeah. And I was watching this movie. I was like, why am I rooting for the guy that like raped and kidnapped children? Like they made him the hero.
That's the person you would.
No, he didn't rape and kidnap children. What he did was he actually took a girl and raped her to impregnate her because he lost his daughter.
Okay, but then he becomes like the hero. But still, like.
But how did? I mean, if anything, you would want this guy to, like, I don't know, be arrested or get killed.
Yeah,
because that's horrible.
They make him like the savior at the end of the movie. I'm like, why would I root for this guy?
Now, that is a depressing backstory, but still, that doesn't justify his actions.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, not at all, not at all.
I mean, it's depressing.
But I will say, before I knew what he did to the girl in the first Don't Breathe, I was rooting for him because those people broke into his house.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I wanted him to win. But then when I saw the weird stuff he was doing, I was like,
Yeah, for people that don't know, I guess he's a guy that is blind, right?
Yeah.
And then people try and break into his house, and I guess he's
but
like
his other senses are like really heightened.
Yeah, he's like Daredevil, so he just like kills these people. Yeah, it was a good concept, the first one. The second one, not so much. Some things don't need a sequel. Some things definitely don't need a prequel. I think some of these characters are so interesting where you create your own backstory for them. You don't want to know, like they made the Han Solo movie. For people that don't know, Han Solo is a character from Star Wars. Iconic character. And, in my mind, I had all this story as to like who he was. I could envision who he was, but then they had to make a prequel to explain like how he was born, why he got the name Solo. Why it's like we don't need this. We don't need an origin story for everything because our imagination is more than what they are able to deliver.
Right.
The prequel, I think, is unnecessary 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also feel like I don't want to see any more prequels, sequels, tinkles of any more horror movies. Like, I want to see some new cinematic serial killers.
Well, that's why we're going to create our own little thing in a little bit. But what are some of the best? Because sometimes the sequel actually is better than the original. Maybe they learned some of the mistakes of the original movie. They hear back some feedback. What can we improve? Maybe they got a bigger budget. For me, I got a bunch of them. I also have a list. I'm wondering if some of mine are on the list. So, speaking of Han Solo, Empire Strikes Back is, in my opinion, the best of the Star Wars movies. It's his absolute, a masterpiece. As far as modern stuff goes, though, Top Gun Maverick was unbelievable this past summer. And, I'm not the biggest fan of the original Top Gun. I thought it was fine. But this movie was unfreaking believable. Tom Cruise has had some great sequels. The Mission Impossible movies are great. He knows how to make a good summer, action movie. He's the king of that.
Don't say anything because I haven't seen it yet, but I really do because I did see the first one like right before this one came out, and the original was really good, and I definitely want to see.
You missed out, Frank, because this was a movie that needed to be seen in IMAX. The newest Top Gun movie, Top Gun Maverick. I don't know how well it's going to translate if you're just watching it. Even if you have a big screen TV, 65-inch, it's not the same as sitting in an IMAX theater with the loud sound and the 200-foot screen. As far as kids' movies go, What about the Toy Story franchise? I thought the first 3 were so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
second
they
one
were
was
good.
good.
Yeah.
Those are my childhood.
But the
those
fourth
movies.
one that came out was so unnecessary.
It's
that
just
the
like
one-
a money-making thing.
It was years.
Is that the one with Forky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I don't
I
even
hated
watch
that one.
it.
Forky stinks.
Wait, is
That
the second
movie-
one when they went
Well,
to
he's
the
came from
daycare?
trash.
No, that's the
That's
third
the
one.
third
I
one.
That's the
love
third
that one.
The second
That one
one's
was
with
good.
Wendy. No, Jesse.
Jesse, yeah.
Jesse and the horse.
Yeah.
Bullseye and the Prospector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stinky Pete.
Cars 2, that was unnecessary.
Well, I don't think any.
Yeah,
Well,
I
also
actually
wasn't-
had this. Yeah, I actually had that as something that was. Well, I didn't hate the Cars sequel like Cars 2, but it was kind of unnecessary because the thing with Cars 2, it's like, yeah, you still have McQueen, Mater, everyone from Radiator Springs, but you also have like spy stuff mixed in. It's like the people were thinking, what should we do for our Cars sequel? And it's like, hey, let's do Cars again, but let's add some James Bond in it or something like that. Like, it was kind of weird how in the first one you go from like a
Regular
movie about a
cars.
race car, and then you just, I don't know, you just go right into spy stuff.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but the third one did go back to the racing, and I did like the third one.
I want to see a sequel to Inside Out.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see how her emotions develop as a young woman or adult.
Caller, you're on the air. I think you are.
Yep. Well, I heard all this sequel talk, and I think you're forgetting maybe the most important and the greatest sequel to ever exist.
Let's hear it.
That'd be Blues Brothers 2000.
Ugh, who is this? Who is
Who
this?
are you?
Who is
Take a
this?
wild guess.
Is this John from Freeport?
No, it's not.
Who is this?
Wait! Oh! Is
What?
this
One of
Anthony?
your- Yes.
Anthony Day?
I knew my baby! Hi, Anthony.
Wow. Blues Brothers 2000. Yikes, Anthony. How is everything, buddy?
It's going well. Going well.
That's good.
How'd your Rangers do? Did they win?
They won. They won the other night. It was a 2-for-1 special. The Yankees won. It was nice.
Are you excited for tonight, game 2 of the ALDS?
Well, that's if they play it with the rain.
How do we go from
Yeah, let's
movies
go
to
Yankees.
sports?
Right?
What? He's not even here. He's not even here to talk sports.
Well, Anthony,
Hot take on your
you're
movie
always
sequel.
welcome to come down here. I
Oh,
do not
yeah.
agree with your Blues Brothers 2000 take. It is one of, if not the worst sequel of all time. But
I mean, the best part of that movie is when Dan Aykroyd's head just showed up in the center console of the car for some reason.
yeah.
It just makes sense.
Well, Dan Aykroyd, we know, is a crazy person. If you listen to any interview with the guy, he is zonked out of his brain. You got a best sequel, an actual best sequel, Anthony?
I'm trying to think.
That's good.
I think
Don't think too
yeah,
hard.
I do have it.
What do you
It's kind
got?
of a basic answer, but it's really good only because of Robert De Niro's part. That'd be the
So what
Godfather
is it?
Part.
Well, he's getting to it. Say it again.
The Godfather Part 2.
Excellent
Yeah.
answer. I had that
Oh,
one
yeah.
written down as well. All right, Anthony. Thanks for calling up, buddy.
We miss
We
you.
love you, buddy.
Bye.
Step bro. Bye bye. Yeah. Yeah, well, that was a running gag we had. Here's my little step bro. All right, so yeah, Godfather 2, of course, a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, I have as one of the best sequels of all
Dark
time.
Knight.
Dark Knight, I
Dark
also had
Knight,
written
alright.
down. Some
You know
things
what?
some things are better than the original.
Yeah.
You know what sequel I hated?
Let's hear it.
Coming to America.
I had to turn it off after 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't do it.
It was the same exact as the first one, just less funny.
Well, that's the issue with comedy sequels. Comedy sequels never work.
Yeah.
Maybe, 9 out of 10 don't work, and every now and then there is something that does work. The issue with the comedy sequel is it tends to just be a regurgitation of what we got with the original, the same sort of jokes, the same sort of setup. Literally in The Hangover Part 2, they go, here we go again.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over again.
What about Bad Boys?
Bad boys, what you go? What you go do?
Never heard of that one.
You never heard of
Oh,
Bad
that's the
Martin
one with Will
Lawrence and Will
Smith.
Smith?
Yeah.
I like the most recent one that actually came out. I like it because that's more, it has the action element to it. It's not just like a strictly a comedy. Like I like the Rush Hour series as well.
Oh, yes, yes. What about Men in Black?
It's on Netflix.
Men in Black 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just saw it in theaters for its 25th anniversary. Men in Black 2 is a disaster. It's horrendous. Men in Black 3, really good actually. The most recent one that came out, it was like Men in Black International. I had that as the worst movie of that year. I think it came out 2019. That was the worst movie of that year. Absolutely horrendous. As far as like the comedy sequels though, Like, I like the Austin Powers movies, but then by the time you get to the third one, once you get to the third one, though, it's like, all right, we've seen this. Wayne's World 2, Anchorman 2, not as good. Some things, especially comedies, just need to have that singular story. Can anybody think of what is the absolute worst sequel?
Do you know I didn't know this existed. American Psycho 2.
Yes, with Mila Kunis.
I didn't even know it existed. But I don't even want to see it.
No.
I feel like the first one covered everything.
Well, it's a new story. Obviously doesn't follow Patrick Bateman. Christian Bale's character.
I feel like it's unnecessary.
Oh, it completely is. I don't think it even was supposed to be an American Psycho movie. I think it was a different script, and they just sort of attached. It was like a made-for-video sort of movie. What do you got, Destiny?
I feel like it's not a sequel; it's a prequel. I feel like Orphan 2 wasn't needed.
I never saw the first one. Is that when you find out the girl is like 40 years old?
Yeah, she was 33, but she has some type of disorder where she looks like 10 forever.
That's what I felt. Remember that corn kid from a few weeks ago? He's like, I love corn.
Wait, isn't that like real? Isn't there like a woman that was like adopted, but she was like 20 years old, but she looks like she was 10?
That's why you interrupted my corn story joke. For that!
Not real.
Wait.
That was scary.
No,
Wait,
I'm not
did
sure.
you?
I never heard of that.
I think I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Didn't they
She's
like
Russian or something?
Yeah, but that's the orphan. That's the orphan
and
girl.
she like murdered I don't know.
Yeah,
she was really scary.
And she was in love in the Orphan 2. She was in love with the orphan. No, the adopter father.
Oh,
I think it's real. I think I saw it on Dr. Phil.
Well, I gotta look that up. I didn't know that was real. But the girl in the movie is Russian. She's from Russia.
Hot take on Dr. Phil: human trash.
Ooh.
I literally despise Dr. Phil. He exploits people with mental health issues and puts them on television when they should not be on television.
Is he like a real psychologist?
I don't know what his actual medical degree is. I don't know if he's technically a doctor. All I know is I don't like him. He'll put people when they're on the lowest of lows.
Is he a doctor? I want to see.
There was an actress named Shelley Duvall. She was in The Shining. She's like mentally just not there, and he exploited her. He put her on television, and when she should not be there, she should be like seen by a professional in private. She shouldn't be exposed like that.
Because he doesn't practice.
He's also the reason we have that Catch Me Outside girl.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that came from
Dr. Phil needs better PR.
And you know who's the cause of Dr. Phil?
Who?
Oprah.
Ooh.
Because he used to be on Oprah's show.
Oh my god.
What about Dr. Oz?
He's like running for Senate or something.
Yeah, he's running for Senate in Pennsylvania.
I guess that happened already. I don't know.
I mean, his dietary knowledge is there.
He's like a crazy person.
I just remember the clip of Kale with him. That's the only thing I remember.
What did it look like?
Back to the sequel.
Anyways,
Kale or something.
My favorite sequel. Oh man, as a kid, I loved Shrek, and now reminiscing on it, the sequels of Shrek, I'd watch that. As a marathon.
Yeah.
That would be a cute date, just Shrek, and then make cookies, and then just. Oh,
my
Shrek
favorite,
is amazing.
My favorite Shrek movie was Shrek the Third.
Me too.
Really?
Relax.
Okay, calm down.
I'm sorry. I love Disney princesses. My bad.
Jess, people are driving. Let's not cause some accidents here.
Well, I'm not on the road. They'll live.
I got a list of the top 10 sequels according to ScreenRant.com.
Do it.
Number 10, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Never seen it.
Okay.
I'm not a Star Trek guy. I'm a Star Wars guy. Number 9, Spider-Man 2 from 2004 with Doc Ock.
That was actually a good movie.
Yeah, I like that one
I
a
agree
lot.
with that one.
Number 8 on this list is Toy Story 2, which I'm all for.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Number 7 on the list, and I couldn't get into these movies either, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I just never
seen
they're
that.
just so boring and slow. It's like, all right, we get it. You're walking. There are trees. Cool. Number 6, Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
Yes.
That movie was badass.
Yeah.
Civil War was really good, too. A lot of these Marvel movies I could feel be on there. Number 5 on the list of the best sequels of all time by ScreenRant.com is so good. One of my absolute favorites, Aliens from 1986. The original Alien movie from 1979, directed by Ridley Scott, is really good. It's more of a horror film. This is a horror, but mostly an action sort of movie. Absolute masterpiece starring Sigourney Weaver. Number 4 on this list is The Godfather Part 2. Which I'm shocked is number 4. Number 3 is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. What can beat these two? Number 2, they have Empire Strikes Back. All right, I'm not mad with that.
Okay.
Number 1, I'm assuming, they have The Dark Knight. I don't agree with that. I like The Dark Knight. I love The Dark Knight. But The Dark Knight is not better than The Godfather Part 2. Or Terminator 2. It's just not. There's so many flaws in The Dark Knight, which I love, but there's a lot of just unnecessary nonsense in that movie.
Yeah.
Like Christian Bale's voice. Who decided to talk like this? all three movies. Like, and I love Christian Bale. He's one of the best actors of our generation, but yeah, just completely unnecessary with that voice. So we have the best movies. Some of the worst sequels I have of all time. I wrote down Toy Story 4. Not that it's like a bad movie, but it's just compared to the other three, not very good.
Plus, it came out a long time after Toy Story 3. So
I don't mind that, though. You know, every now and then, you know, a movie will be resurrected. Like the Blade Runner sequel was like 40 years after the original one. I thought that one was pretty good. Jaws and Top Gun, for instance, is like 35 years after the next one. Any of the Jaws sequels are so unnecessary.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Jaws 2.
Jaws 2. Yeah. And Jaws 2 is like actually the best of the Jaws sequels. Once they start getting into 3D world, like they have like a 3D one, it's just absolutely horrendous.
So you can't really enjoy it unless you have 3D glasses.
And even when you did have the 3D glasses, I'm sure when it came out in the 80s, it did not look good. And then as far as like the worst comedies, sequels of all time, Caddyshack 2. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I never heard of the Caddyshack.
You've never heard of Caddyshack?
Nope.
Isn't that like a car?
I hate everyone.
That's Cadillac.
Nobody here has heard of the movie Caddyshack.
I mean, I've heard the name, but I just don't know what it's about.
It's about golfing.
Oh, okay.
Chevy Chase. Yeah, it's about guys who work at a golf place, and then, you know, it's got like some of the most iconic comedic actors of all time: Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield.
Nope.
Do you know who any of those people are?
Absolutely not.
You've never heard of Bill Murray?
Nope.
Wait,
nobody here's heard of Bill Murray?
Uh-oh.
No,
what is wrong with everyone?
I'm a face person, not a
We're
name.
not in our 30s. We're in our 20s.
Who doesn't know who Bill Murray is? I know who Charlie Chaplin is. I'm not from the 1920s. How do you not know who Bill Murray is? Have you not seen a single movie?
Oh, I know who Bill Murray. I don't know their names. I just know their
Jesus.
faces.
Bill Murray.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, wait, never mind. I don't
No,
know
he
who
also
this
played in The
is.
Green Mile.
He's not in The Green Mile.
Oh,
who
so
are you
never mind.
looking at? That's Tom Hanks.
No, not the.
I don't
He
know
wasn't
Bill
the cellmate
He's
with
a
the rat.
Virgo.
No.
That wasn't him.
The big black guy, Michael Clark Duncan?
No, the other one, the one with the mouse, Mr. Jingles.
No.
That wasn't him.
You guys have never seen Ghostbusters, Stripes.
No.
Oh, he's the
Groundhog
one
Day.
in the Jungle Book.
He was in Garfield.
Yeah.
You're picking the worst Bill Murray movies. He's the voice of Garfield. Sure. You guys have never seen Groundhog Day?
No.
No.
Nobody here's seen Groundhog Day.
No.
Sean, our station manager, we need to do like a pre-screening
He's
for
in
everybody.
a lot of movies.
He's like one of the most iconic movie actors of all time. Mm-hmm. St. Vincent of modern movies. You never seen that? Any Wes Anderson movie?
Nope.
Show's over. I'm going home.